Hello, this is Fumichika. Please call me Fumi. I'm a customer support of OpenLM Japan. Today, I would like to introduce version 24 architecture and system requirements. First of all, please take a look at this deployment chart. This is a sample of on-premise. First of all, these all components should be installed on the central server. But talking about the machine load, you can separate them. Like you can install them on each separate machine, but you have to open port like this. I will explain each description of each component later, but briefly, OpenLM Server is the main software. So if you install broker component, it will read license output and log from license manager and send the data to OpenLM server. And then workstation agent, if you install it on each target machine, it can monitor the registered application process, and then it can detect the active time and idle time, so it will report to OpenLM server. So OpenLM server has got the browser UI, which will display the report from those records in nice user-friendly report. So that's a main structure of OpenLM. So please let me explain each component description. So OpenLM server main system stores data from each component in a database and then display reports using EasyAdmin browser UI. EasyAdmin is accessible via a URL from the same network. And then identity service is a security component, controls access to the open software browser UI EasyAdmin, and then authenticates between each component and then OpenLM server. Manages user accounts and then security for OpenLM software, uses its own database. And then broker, install on the machine with the license manager, reads the license manager's log and output, license usage information, and then sends the data to the OpenLM server. When working with the application manager, it can be installed on any machine, not just the one with the license manager. It also has a browser UI on port 5090, allowing configuration from other remote machines. And then report scheduler sends scheduled report and CSV data from EasyAdmin browser UI via email at specified times. Support both internal SMTP and cloud SMTP. So going back to that, so I explained the main component on OpenLM server, broker, and then identity service is a security component. It will put the login account for EasyAdmin, OpenLM server browser UI. And then report scheduler, those report from web UI, browser UI. You can, if you set the setting in the EasyAdmin for SMTP server or something, it will automatically send the report screenshot and then CSV data to the designated email address. So next thing is, so I will explain about application manager later, but you can install broker on the open server machine, but this is exclusive for application manager. So next, so DSA and DSS, it's an LDAP component. So actually, broker reads the license output log and then option file as well, FlexLM option file. So it can import the user and then group described in the those data automatically to OpenLM server. But in addition, if you want to import user entity and then group entity from your Active Directory, you have to use DSA and DSS. So retrieves entity, user and group data from Active Directory and send it to DSS. Act as the front line for LDAP synchronization. And then DSS stores the entity, user and group data retrieved from Active Directory by DSA in DSS own database, and then synchronize it with the OpenLM server database. Act as a relay for LDAP synchronization. So next agent I explained already, but installed on each end user's workstation. The purpose is to monitor idle time, active time, and idle time, and automatically reclaim licenses after idle time has elapsed. So it means like it will retrieve, harvest the license to the back to the pool. So it can also monitor standalone software, send the idle time and workstation information to the OpenLM server, sends data for automatic license reclamation to EUS, end user service. And the end user service is the agent browser UI. So browser UI that manages multiple agents. It acts like a hub of agent. End user can view license usage information and then select project. So retrieves usage information and project data from the OpenLM server. And then lastly, application manager aggregates information from the agent and then sends usage information to the OpenLM server through the broker. Simulates the license manager. Can also monitor standalone software. Based on set rules and limits, in the Easy Admin you can set the configuration. It can issue commands to agent to prevent user from opening application. So, for example, like some license manager allow you to check out even though the license limit is exceeded, and then they will bill you later. So if you want to prevent the application from opening with a certain limit of license or number, so you can utilize application manager. So please go. I will go back to the chart. So I talked about workstation agent. It will monitor the process of application. Standalone network floating license doesn't matter. So it will report the idle time and license active time to open server machine. So it also has got the automatic license release function. We call it like a license harvesting. So depending on idle time, if you set the threshold in Easy Admin, it will automatically retrieve the license back to the pool. So otherwise, end user service is act as the hub of agent. So you don't have to install end user service on each workstation agent, just on the open server machine. So it's a browser UI for agent. And the application manager, as I told you, it can prevent user from opening the application. So if you want to limit the number of license or application opening, you can utilize the application manager. And then DSS and DSA. Oh, sorry. DSS and DSA. So it will retrieve it will import entity, group, and user from Active Directory in your organization. And then we also have a cloud deployment. We have the OpenLM AWS. We already pre-installed OpenLM Server Identity Service, End User Service, DSS, Report Scheduler. All ports is 443. So you can connect to the OpenLM AWS through the 443 throughout your gateway in your office. And then OpenLM, yeah. And then the same, like otherwise, you just have to install broker in your license server, and then you just have to install workstation agent on your target machine, target PC. And then if you want to import user and group from Active Directory, you can also deploy DSA in your office. So those data will be sent to the DSS, and the agent broker will send to the OpenLM server. So the logic is the same, but these components are already pre-installed in the AWS, so you don't have to care about it. Lastly, just like on-premise and then cloud, you need to prepare the empty database for each component, three component, each component, OpenLM server, identity service, and then DSS. And then I would like to talk about the system requirements briefly. So OpenLM server machine, as I told you, you can install most of component on OpenLM server machine, but you can separate the each component to each separate machine if you would like to reduce the load for machine. But uh, maybe it's convenient to put the most of component on one machine if your machine spec is high. So OpenLM server machine like a 4 core to 8 core, and then RAM is like a 16 to 64 gigabyte. And then actually, so if you are connecting many agents, you have to think about the RAM and the CPU to increase like this. And then OS version, Windows Server 2019 or above. Actually, we support 2000, 2016 as well, but I would like to make it newer. So 2019 is the standard, I think, for now. So broker machine 4 core 8 gigabyte, and then 2019 or above. Agent PC 2 core 2 gigabyte, Windows 10 or above. And then database, Maya database 10.6 or above, MySQL 8 or above, MS SQL 2019 or above. We actually support the old version for broker and the MS SQL as well, but I would like to make it newer. So standard is now maybe 2019. Yeah. And then talking about Linux version, we support CentOS 7 or above, Ubuntu 21.04 or above. But we don't have the version for this component, DSS, DSA, report scheduler. We don't support Linux. But as a component, we have a Linux version. So thank you very much. So if you have any further inquiry, please contact at support@openlm.com or sales@openlm.com. So thank you for your listening. Bye now.